Today we're going to be talking about Caravan of Courage. Where do I begin? Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure can best be described as a cinematic masterpiece. Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure can best be described as quite possibly the worst thing ever filmed under the banner of Star Wars. I think it's worse than the holiday special, but because at least the holiday special has that ha-ha factor. At least the holiday special has that so bad it's good thing going for it. A little masochism every holiday season that you just have to watch, that you just try to enjoy. Put yourself in the holiday mood. As I was watching this, I couldn't help but think how if this stick of sauteed raccoon assholes was made in 2023, everyone would say that it killed Star Wars. But it was made in 1984. It's always been dead. A family spaceship crashes on Endor. Mace and his sister are separated from their parents. They find some Ewoks. The Ewoks help them on a quest to rescue their parents from the grip of the vicious Gorax monster. George Lucas and Bob Corral co-wrote the story. When shopping the idea of the Ewok film around to various TV networks, it was discovered that none of them were interested in airing a half-hour special, but ABC showed interest in a 2-hour movie of the week. So the project was expanded to fill the 2-hour movie of the week request, which makes sense considering most of this made-for-TV movie is just walking around. It's the perfect example of, hey, we have 30 minutes of stuff, but we need to fill 2 hours. So let's stretch. I have no nostalgia for this. I have no love for this. I can't sit back and go, I watched that as a kid so I can see the charm. No, I have none of that. I've known of its existence forever. I've always wanted to check it out. I just never watched it because I always heard it was a turd. But I finally decided to embrace the suck. Let's jump in. Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure. I like the idea. I like the idea of some kids marooned on Endor and teaming up with the Ewoks. I really like that idea. On paper, it sounds like such a grand, glorious adventure for kids to watch. And if you mix in the peak latchkey kids 80s movie vibe back then, like Stand By Me or Goonies, then it just seemed like gold. The potential for something really great was there, but this is not it. One of the positives of Caravan of Courage is how great it looks. I think, for the most part, the Ewoks look really good, the costumes look great, the settings, the matte paintings are fantastic and do a great job of giving us a further look at Endor. For a made-for-TV movie with kids and Ewoks, the look of this thing is pretty good. There's a little sense of adventure. Feels like you're playing in the backyard. Feels like you got a tree fort. Your swing set is home base. There's this weird narrator that chimes in from time to flat out explain exactly what's going on in the story. Maybe because of the language barrier between the Ewoks and the kids, I guess, and it's probably just easier for kids viewing this movie to understand what's going on if someone is completely explaining what is going on. I get it. But when the voice of God comes over your speakers while you're watching some Ewoks prance and dance around the forest, kind of takes you out of it. And it's so monotone and bland. The narration is voiced by Burl Ives, who you would probably recognize the most from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop motion movie. He does the voice of the snowman. I even think the Gorax looks good for what it is. You know, man in a suit, a little camera trickery to make him look enormous. It somewhat reminds me of the original Star Trek series from time to time. The acting, now, I'm generous. It's kids. There's a lot of leeway that you have to give when you're judging this stuff when there's kids involved. And we're not dealing with Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense here. We're not dealing with Natalie Portman and Leon the Professional here. This is a made-for-TV movie with kid actors, and it's not good. And just for the sake of being nice, that's all I'm going to say about that. There's some basic moral lessons peppered throughout Caravan of Courage. You know, basic stuff. Should they waste their time and watch Caravan of Courage to learn these moral lessons? No. I actually think the music is pretty well done too. It's not Star Wars, it's not the grand score of John Williams, although we do hear him from time to time. But again, for what it is, it fits. It's fine. It's one of the positives of Caravan of Courage. It's what it needed to be. I honestly think there is no reason to watch Caravan of Courage. Not even for curiosity's sake. Unless maybe you have nostalgia for it and you want to watch something that your brain will go, I remember that. Sometimes it's nice to revisit things from your childhood just for a few seconds of flash of memories, right? But other than that scenario, don't waste your time. I wasted my time. I could have watched something I've been wanting to watch for a while, but I decided to watch this. I don't even think it would be fun for a kid nowadays to watch. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I guarantee she would immediately get bored with it, especially because it would have to compete with so much other modern, great, enthralling, exciting kids' entertainment. Caravan of Courage is boring. There's no way it could compete with anything these days that kids are watching. And that's the best way to describe it. It's just boring. Am I surprised by these findings after my first viewing of Caravan of Courage? No, I'm not surprised by these findings. It's not like I was going into this thing expecting to be blown away, but I was looking for the positives. And it has charm, it has heart, but the negatives vastly outweigh the positives. I could go further. I could go into plot details. I could go into all the goofy, nonsensical magic. I could be a big negative Nick for another 10 minutes about how the Caravan of Courage sucks, but I won't. I'm tired. What's the point? You already know. There's no reason to give this thing a watch. Go watch something else. I should have.